right, welcome to the roundtable where we're going to be talking about Power Rangers, the role playing game. We're going to give our thoughts on character creation, how it plays, and everything in between. All right, I am Ogar. I was the storyteller, and we'll start from the left and go to the right.
Yo, it's the Sean.
Hello, I'm Soleil.
It's me, Gorgo.
Mm, I'm Aaron. Well,
Oh, I'm Jelly. We practiced this. I
We
know.
practiced for so long. We practiced for so long.
We genuinely. I'm sorry. I was looking. I was looking for something on my desk. I'm sorry.
It's fine. We'll fix it in post, maybe. Probably not.
No, leave it.
Probably not.
No,
Leave it. Leave it as is.
leave it.
Even leave the like we practice.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we made characters together and we played like a little mini campaign for like 3, 4 sessions. So we're gonna start off with character creation. How y'all feel about that? How'd y'all feel about the character creation portion of Power Rangers? We'll start with Gorgo.
So for me, it was fine because I read it. Listen to
Shots
And I'm
fired.
listening to
Gee.
just saying. I'm just saying. If you read it like from beginning to end, it's fine. But you cannot like do the whole bounce around thing that people do when they make characters. This is one you need to read from beginning to end. If you don't, then well, bless your soul.
any,
Mary, go
any
next.
other negative talking you want to do about the rest of the group? You good? You leaving it at that?
What? What happened? What I do?
For me, I thought it was fine. I did not read it all the way through, but that's because I didn't need to. It was pretty straightforward overall. I think there were some aspects of. Let's see. I think the only, for the most part, I liked the stat allocation system. I think that was fine. I like that a lot, actually. My only issue was I felt like influences were sometimes a little too vague. That's about it.
All right, so let go.
Now this could be because I didn't read it all the way through or something, but I felt like I was doing a lot of back and forth with it. Even when we first started, it was like, okay, we're starting here, now back up and do this, now go forward a little more and do this, but don't forget to consider this. Like, once we got into the groove of it, it wasn't that bad, but like, I guess I just kind of prefer the like, okay, if you're doing character creation, we're starting on page 1. Now you can move to page 7. Now move to page.
It was a lot back and forth.
Yeah, so I just felt like even once I knew what I was doing, I was still like going back to the beginning of where I started to make sure that where I was going forward was the right way. And then ended up changing things because I was like, oh, well, if I want to do this, then I need to have this. So it just, I, and I guess the other frustrating thing is I'm not sure how I would change it so it wouldn't go the way that it went. So I guess that's the most frustrating part is like, I didn't completely like the way it's laid out, but I don't know how it could be improved.
Okay, Deshaun.
I was basically the same with the way it was confusing for the first bit, and then once I kind of started understanding it, was just kind of obnoxious, just having to go back and forth for 2 pages.
All right, Jelly.
Okay. Character creation. Yeah, I did skip around a little bit. But that's because I didn't scroll all the way up. That's on me. Also, I don't know. Some parts were a bit confusing, but I think that's just the formatting that Renegade does for all their material. But after figuring out what was what, it was a lot easier to follow along. So there's that. Plus the search function is just use that.
Yeah.
I will say upgrading after the characters were created was fine. It's like
Yeah,
once
you
you
got it.
Yeah, once you had your basis, then after that it's fine.
Yeah, it was just at first you were just like, huh.
Oh.
But like also it kind of made you like skip like up ahead in some places, and then you have to go back. And I would prefer a more
Linear.
Character creation than hopping back and forth. But as I said, Renegade has a habit of making material that you have to hop around. So
I will say the one thing I will critique, just like layout of the book in general, is it's not just based off of how the charts are. It's not very PDF friendly because most times PDFs open up in like single version, like single pages.
Yeah.
And I remember being super confused until you were like, no, you need to look at it in a double page format. So I do feel like that's a thing. If like there's a critique, and to me that goes into character creation because some of those charts were things you needed in order to make your character. So that's just an overall critique. Again, kind of a Renegade thing. Most of their things don't really go very well in like a linear format when you're looking at it page by page. You kind of have to do double pages with them. But it's in an age now where most people get their content digitally. That is something that I wish that they would have thought about.
Yeah.
Doing the double page definitely helped.
For sure.
So at the very least, they could like put something in the book if this is a digital copy. Do 2 pages view. Or book view. I don't know what they would call it.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's something that they could change with their charts. But I see why they did it, but it would be nicer if they were on one page so you wouldn't get that in the PDF.
Mm-hmm.
For me, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but you have to be like strict with like going step by step because it's easy to get lost in everything, especially with the counting of the like essence points and scores once you get to that part and you have it all totaled together. One thing that kind of found interesting and I don't really like, but I didn't get to play it fully because I was GMing and not being a character, is that like the origins don't seem balanced. Like some of the origins seem like way better than some of the others.
Yeah.
That's why neither of us would give up Rebellious. You're like, there's a lot of y'all that got Rebellious. There's a reason why. There's absolutely a reason why.
But like, I would argue that our Oddball is just a better Rebellious because you get more skills, but you still get the perk.
Hey, perk 10.
You do get different skills, but
I will say the skills probably should have been more balanced, but that's just me.
What? The skills balanced?
it just seemed like Oddball
was
was
just way too
like
good.
super good. It's like it's one of the ones that you get to start off with 2 instead of 1 health. You get to choose whichever essence score you want to put in your +1. You get the most amount of skills of any origin, plus your origin benefit is you get a perk.
Right? That's That's probably one of the gripes I probably have is it's you just pick oddball. Everybody pick an oddball and just roll with
Not
that.
everybody could be an oddball.
I mean, the only reason I didn't was because I had a preset notion of the character that I wanted, and oddball didn't really fit in
Yeah.
my canon story. But yeah, after reading it, I was like, dang, maybe I should have.
I think everybody read it and it was like, dang, I should have.
Mhm.
But like that's that's one of the gripes I saw because like obviously it didn't fit my character concept. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's just
Yeah.
I wish they were a little bit better about that. But I don't know.
because like y'all still picked like a lot of the like better origins, even without Oddball. But then like you look at something like comedic, which only gets 1 health. You only get 5 skills, and y'all were getting like 6 and 7.
yeah, that's
Off
why
the
I
jump.
didn't pick comedic. Even though I was
Yeah.
Black Ranger, I was like, nah, this is trash. I'm gonna go
Exactly.
punch stuff good.
And
then
me,
I did.
me, glass cannon. I'm just gonna cut people. Fine.
Yeah.
I don't
I
need that
wasn't
much
even a
health.
glass. I wasn't even a glass cannon. I was just made of glass.
I was definitely a glass cannon. They
Nah,
had hit
I
me, I
had to
would
heal
have been
you.
down.
I had to absolutely heal you.
Oh,
Well-
Just drag me away.
sorry.
How'd y'all feel about y'all's roles? Like the actual Rangers, like the skills that you got for being your Rangers. Did y'all like those?
I loved Pink Ranger. Pink Ranger was so
Um,
good.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
What was I?
Go ahead.
What was I? Black Ranger, big Black Ranger.
Yeah.
Big Black.
Black Black Ranger felt conflicting because it felt like I was a bard, like with the way that some of the stats were. Like I was giving temporary health to other people or assisting them in their checks and stuff like that. But there was still things that were like strength related that felt unneeded if you're going to be leaning towards more social aspects.
I guess to me it felt more. I guess it's still kind of bardish, but it felt more paladin-y.
Was it Paladin?
Because
Paladin.
you can like inspire people, which is first I did think of bard, but then also like paladins can kind of do that too with certain skills and give buffs. And with the strength thing, like paladins usually go in with like the heavy armor and either one hand, like sword and board, or like the 2 hand and start smiting stuff. And so
Yeah, the reason why I say more so bard is because there's certain aspects of it. At least I think powers. Let's see, because it's what quips and speeches
yeah,
per day give health to allies. You can you gain edge on all alertness, deception, and persuasion checks. Like that kind of stuff was, unless I'm missing something, I think that was part of the Black Ranger. Yeah, it felt conflicting with what my role should have been. But then again, I don't know what my role should have been at that point.
all right.
Well, I will say Blue Ranger is
Okay.
definitely the geek. Sorry.
No, you're quiet. It's not your time to talk.
No, I actually was just going to call blue because I was just gonna go in the color the Ranger spectrum order.
Well, there you go. But yeah, Blue Ranger was definitely the geek. Like almost like when I was creating the character, it almost felt like that's all I would be the geek. But then, like, due to a couple of lucky rolls, I ended up actually like killing the bad guy, like giving the killing blow, and it like a surprise. It's like you would be like, so how do you do it? I mean, like, how do I do what? What are you talking about? But which I guess is, true to the show. Like, when did you ever expect Billy to be the one that gives the killing blow and everybody be like, "Hey, good job," if he did?
Oh my God, Billy did it finally.
Yeah, shockingly, Billy did it. But yeah, it. But on the other side, yeah, it just kind of felt like, yeah, you are computer brain with a weapon, and if they come after you, well, hopefully you roll big, and then if you do, yeah, good job. But like playing through, I did like what was given to me, so for investigations and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's like during the fights, I always felt squishy. Now, to be fair, I thought everybody was starting with a similar HP to me. Uh, I,
No, you
I
didn't.
was just
Nope.
Don't
yeah, I
lie.
was disabused of that fact very quickly.
I think
Though
I started off with 5. No, hold on.
yeah, no, I had one for a bit. Though I did end up having more than not pink, Yellow Ranger. Uh, Before the playthrough was done. Again, glass cannon.
Yeah.
So that was
She stuck to the I'm gonna hit stuff very hard life.
yeah. And then
You know?
also a little bit of the healer, because I remember I got a couple of bonuses to where like I could help everybody's weapon be better, or I could also give health to somebody else. So it's a good support role. So sometimes a little too supporty. Like, depending on how the story went, like I said, I felt like I was just supposed to be the geek that stood over there but happened to maybe have powers sometimes.
All right. Green. So Deshaun.
To be honest, because I didn't watch any of the Power Rangers, probably just or remember anything of it. I kind of just made my
Gasp.
character. I don't remember any, like I remember watching like maybe like a few episodes, but like it wasn't a lot for me to remember any of the Rangers. So I kind of just made my character how I kind of wanted to act, or like he was a really awkward guy just trying to fit in and like do his part. So that's kind of how I was going with it.
Did you feel like any of like the Green Rangers like particular abilities were good, or
Yeah,
Any-
they were good. The only conflicting thing was I kind of want to use I want to use like dual daggers, which I think we were talking about, but we just settled with I think it was dual clubs.
yeah?
So I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. That's the only thing I kind of wish we were able to get, but players can be choosers.
Pink.
Yes. So I love Pink Ranger. To me, I feel like just based off of hearing everyone else's, Pink Ranger was definitely the most defined. I went in knowing that I was gonna be ranged, and I feel like the things that they gave me, along with like some of the weapons that I chose, just maximize that. Like volley, I thought was super good. Like the fact that you could do multiple attacks. There were perks that definitely help support the idea of Pink Ranger being a like a ranged. And I came in with a decent amount of health, but because of things like fleet of foot and hard target, it made her just that much more viable, in my opinion. So like, I just got to essentially shoot things, do a lot of damage, and not get hit in the process.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like honestly that best. I loved it, and like I said before. But yeah, I'm sorry, you were saying something, Niren?
No. I was just chilling.
Oh yeah. I just think that out of combat, so what she contributes to the party when you're not in combat that's where I felt like she lacked at. And I'm not sure if that is more of an issue with the system itself versus how I built her. Because it does give you, at the very beginning, it does give you like a +1 to social. So it could just very well be that I might not have played her or statted her correctly for the for that other part. Because I was so combat heavy and ranged heavy. But that was like my only critique. Combat, she played like a dream. For investigative and out of like investigative stuff, it really didn't go as well for her.
I do feel like the Rangers in general were like their abilities were mainly for combat. Like if you wanted something outside of combat, you had to like grab it somewhere else, like either through your origin, your influence, or maybe a perk.
Right. Like, why
Yeah,
was the support
fair.
person the best at investigation when the support person was the most squishy? Because if I had found something, I wouldn't have been able to fight it.
Well, if it was something to fight.
No, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's but I think honestly that might be just an idea, and I know we're kind of getting away from like characters, but that might be more so because I feel like every system that you play, it gives you something a little bit different, and
Mhm.
maybe this is just one of those systems where it's less story generated and more being bound pow, like you just hit stuff,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And there's a
Yeah.
place for that in the TTRPG realm because there are others that are just geared toward primarily story.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
I
want to
will
talk about
say that-
yellow?
Yeah. I had a blast being yellow. Very combat heavy. I will say that based how I built her, I would have preferred she had more health. Um,
Madam, that was you.
I mean, yeah, I know that was me, but like I did it based upon what I read in the book. Like, I don't know. It might have been like some perks and stuff I could have done to boost it, but it just didn't fit for the build that I was going for, I guess. If that makes any sense. Like, if it doesn't fit for some reason, like character wise or with the story, it doesn't seem to work out well, I guess. I will say social wise, my character wasn't the greatest at that. Doing she was smart though, so if she wanted to look up stuff she could, but it's for some reason the social and the smarts kind of went hand in hand, so I didn't do too well on certain tasks, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I
Yeah,
guess
I
like
would-
like you said, you probably would have to pick up, a perk or have influence or things like that from what you chose in your background.
Yeah.
I do think if like each ranger focuses on like two abilities, or I think they're just called essence, and so like
Ooh.
if you of the four, and so like if you didn't focus on those, it kind of left you weaker in the like if you tried to be like an all-arounder, you kind of just ended up like weaker in those certain things. But if you
Yeah.
stacked them, like I know Jelly that you were stacking speed, so like
Oh yeah, I
and
was
Deshaun as well was stacking speed, and so like y'all were like doing really well on like the martial arts type stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I probably was trying to min-max a little bit. Because I was like, well, I'm already fast, so why not keep stacking that up to be more efficient at what I do. So yeah, there's a slight bit of min-maxing there.
Which I think is okay, because like in a team focus game like this, it's good to have like your place defined instead of being, because like if everyone goes all arounder, then no one's really good at like the thing that you need at certain times, and
Yeah.
so you're more relying on like getting high dice rolls. But if everyone's like has their spot and like are focused at like certain places like that they're good at, then you always have someone to cover somebody else's weakness.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
guess
said,
that's why.
that's why I said I was a glass cannon. I'm fast, I can hit things, but I cannot get hit.
I guess that's where I was confused at with Black Ranger, because it felt a little bit of it felt like I was supposed to be really strong and a tank, but also really supportive. And I didn't really feel like I had a defined role, because it feels like it kind of wants you to focus on what's that thing? It's not strength. Is it strength? Yeah, it's focus on strength and social.
Yeah.
But I ended up focusing more on strength than social, because a lot of it, like a lot of the stuff that I would usually be doing for social, I just got straight from like the Black Rangers abilities themselves.
Yeah, I did notice that like it gave you points in social, but it didn't seem like a social skill boosted a Black Ranger ability, you know?
No, yeah, none of that. It was mainly just combat. I was more tanky than the rest of the group, and I don't know. It was really weird. Also, I could just tank. It never happened, but if I did get reduced to 0 health, I could just come back with 1 HP, but I'm just unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I didn't just outright die. So clearly I was supposed to be tankier than the rest of the group, but then I don't know. It seemed
actually, I
conflicting.
think that particular ability everyone has.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay, I'm big stupid. Never mind then. I thought I was special. Forgive me.
Yeah, I think it was under the it's morphin time thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the one. Never mind. Yeah, never mind.
You are special. It's just not that feature that made you that way, but you are special.
There you go. Dang.
Damn.
Yeah.
Remind said that nah, she was the one that was the special one.
All right.
Glass cannon more special than tank.
Let's move over to like some gameplay stuff. How did y'all feel about like the dice rolling system, like with the D20s and like having your skill with like something like a D2, D4, D6 based on like how many points you have in that skill? And you know, I know we've done stuff like advantage, disadvantage, what they called edge and snag before. So
Yeah.
Give some thoughts on that. Let's go reverse order. So Jelly, you start us off.
The dice order. The dice I felt were fine. I think it's definitely different than what I'm used to. I will say that. But I didn't mind it. I guess it was fine for what it was. I think it made sense for the game. For this one in particular.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, go for it.
I know this is gonna be probably the controversial take. I really enjoyed it, but I felt like getting a critical was too easy.
Okay.
I felt like, well, how do I put this? Usually when I'm playing a tabletop, a critical is supposed to be something that happens once in a while, and I felt like it happening like between all of us, maybe like 2 times for each of us a session. It felt less impactful as it went on because of how criticals exist. But that's just how I feel about it. I did like being able to increase that stat as I leveled up, so that way I specifically, had a certain thing. It's like, okay, I can put more into bronze or whatever I put in, and then I can do more for the group that way. And I like the ability to prioritize specific things within strength or speed or whatever, and not just speed is now leveled up. You get all these extra things on top of that.
Logo?
So I liked the dice system, and it's because it's a little bit of like a dopamine fix, right? You have high die D20, and then if you've got like a D8 or a D12 in a skill, big numbers make you happy. I will say though, I do agree with Niren on the extent of criticals are a little too easy, and that's the nature of the game, because of course when you have like a D20 and you roll a natural 20, it's a 1 in 20 chance, as opposed to you doing it on a D6, it's a 1 in 6 chance. So of course you're gonna crit a bit more, but it also makes it so that, but it's also like the inverse of the better you get at the skill, the less likely you are to crit at it, which is like kind of weird, because you would think that
counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, right? Because now, I get a D12, but now it's like a 1 in 12 chance, as opposed to if I just did it a D6, it's a 1 in 6 chance. I think the other thing that I kind of dislike is I feel like you're already at a disadvantage for not having put something in that stat. I don't feel like having the snag there was necessary, because you're already coming into the roll with 0, like a +0 modifier, so to speak. Like adding insult to injury and making it at disadvantage is like, do we really need to do that?
I will agree to that.
I forgot about that.
I did too.
Yeah.
I forgot, because like if you get that snap, it's gonna hurt real bad.
It's like I'm just gonna. I could not imagine in 5e you have a 0 in a proficiency, and it's like, well, you have to roll at disadvantage now, because you just have 0 idea what you're doing. I don't know. It punishes you for not doing something for not trying outside of your expertise.
It punishes you, I think, because like, and the reason why I feel like it's not like a great thing is because, like all TTRPGs, you get a finite amount of resources when you build your character, which means you're not going to have a dot in everything. So it's kind of like, because the game decided to not give you as much as they could in resources, or the game decided to limit resources as games do, you kind of get like a double whammy of, not only did I not have enough resources to spend on this thing, I now have to take the lower number, roll it twice and take the lower number. That's those are my critiques. Other than that, I liked it. It's just that, well, dog, I guess when I have more critiques on things that I like, then maybe do I like it? Anyway, on to the
Yeah, I will say that I think they do that to try to force the teamwork aspect of it. So like if you don't, it's important to have like a group that can cover like all the bases. But that does make it harder on, say, like if you were playing with a group, like a smaller group, say like 2 or 3, then that would be pretty brutal. Because like I don't think between the 2 or 3 that are playing, you would be able to cover everything. And so if you don't cover it, then everybody's just rolling at disadvantage, and it's gonna be pretty rough.
Yeah. And also, just even with the group that we had, you'd still have to make sure that we all, at the end of the day, cover the entire board, or else we're gonna have a snag in something, and that feels more metagamey than I'd like it to be. Just a little bit.
No, that's perfect. No, I get that, especially because like everyone plays, I feel like TTRPGs a little bit differently, and some people are definitely like more of the min-maxers, and then there are some people that are like more so like RP based, and there are some people that are like in between. And I feel like for those people that are more in between and lean toward RP based, you kind of want to build based off of your character and what you think your character will be good at, and less off of, well, we gotta have all these dots covered or we're gonna be screwed later.
Yeah.
So for the sake of teamwork, you kind of are sacrificing the ability to your individuality, and that's like a not, again, it's a different play style. It's not my preferred play style, but I can see how it would appeal to some people.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that assessment. It's definitely something people should consider when playing this.
All right, so
Well, I'll say as somebody who's newer to the TTRPG, to coming into them, I agree with what y'all said, but it did force me to think about advantages and disadvantages. Like, in playing the other ones, I would mostly make a character and play the character as someone who kind of had a little bit in everything, because I wasn't sure how to necessarily play everything. So if somebody else didn't up the slack, then maybe I could help with it. In this one, it was more like, no, you have to consider the things that you're good at and be good at those things. So on the terms of like learning how to play tabletops, it was very helpful for someone who's not used to making characters a certain way, or to having a character that has a specific role in a group. I'm usually an observer, and in this one I had to be like, well, I'm the only one good in technology, so if we have a technological thing, my character has to go and do the technological things. And also had to make sure that we had that, because just about everybody else had like 1 or 2 in technology. So we knew we were probably going to have to do something during the playthrough with that, and so that made me have to step up my character creation to fill that gap, or to even realize that gap needed to be filled. And in playing after that was created, it was that dopamine feeling. It's like, oh, this is why you want advantages in this stuff. So I guess, like, while I liked it in game, I liked it even more in how it made me excited for other playthroughs. Like, I'd be down for continuing this playthrough in Power Rangers as well, but then once we went to something else, I could take that knowledge into those other playthroughs and be like, oh, this is what I should probably do for this character if I wanted to play this way or that way. So even though I did earlier say that, the creating the character itself was kind of a pain, just in the act of getting the character created and then playing through it and upgrading it, it taught me more about tabletops in general.
I like that.
Oh, that's a fair. No, I think that's a fair.
It's a very fair. It's a fair assessment, especially from someone who is not used to playing TTRPGs like that. I mean, I've learned a lot from various ones as well, and also I realized, like, doing jack of all trades, kind of people don't always work out. So that's just in my personal opinion.
But that's from playing a whole bunch of them. Like, you
tend to think like, oh, this spread should be great, right? And then you start playing, and you're like, wait,
right.
I can do everything, but not proficiently.
Not as efficient as I could be.
Because when my first made in Jelly, this because you came in on the playthrough. The first character I created, I did not put in the stuff that I should for that character.
I remember, and I remember
the
asking
character was
why
fine,
did you...
but it was funny that you.
No, and I get that, and I accept what you said. Like, playing through it, it's like you learn from, and that's one of those things that you
learn from. Like, you can RP that you were learning how to be more of that. So it can work to your advantage in some cases. In case you didn't,
Right, but in the case
think you
of
built
Power
it right.
Rangers, but in the case of Power Rangers, they kind of have that already built in. Like if you know you
Like you
want
know,
to,
yeah, like you know
Yeah,
what role.
but-
Like these
and then
have
while
like
you-
particular roles. Yes.
yeah, and then while you play, you realize why your character has those kind of things. So that's why I was
Yeah.
saying I kind of like it from a beginner standpoint. It kind of helps, and even though
Focus
yeah,
you
it
on
was.
that.
Yeah, it
What-
was funny to play the other character that way, but it was also nice to have this character like, oh, if you're playing this role, then you need this, that, and the other.
All right, so Deshaun. Also, I wanted to ask you specifically, since you had the specialization, like, how did you like doing the specialization roles, where you got to roll like all the dice and pick the highest one? Do you think that was like a help or anything, or?
Is that me? Sorry, I was okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, it is
Uh,
you. It is
no, I-
always
I had to-
you.
I had to answer the door. Sorry. So, it was fun because there were times where, again, like I just had a really bad roll, but I was able to pick better roll because, I roll really crap. Like I roll like a nat 1 or something, but because I had like this 8, I was like, yo, taking the 8 or just nat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Other times when I would roll said dice, it would either probably bite me in the butt multiple times, but I didn't play much because I was AFK. I'm also gonna go back with the like character creation stuff. Use background. When I made my character, I kind of came in with the idea of I want my character to kind of like I was basically kind of making Negan from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we know.
We can never forget.
Lucille's vampire back. But that's kind of like his whole stick. Like he was like he took aspects of Negan, but like again, like he's still just trying to fit in as a whole and not be this dickhead person. So like making it was fun and interacting was fun. It was just kind of incorporating it. What felt kind of awkward for me because it's like I have to make Negan, and like whenever I got a killing blow, that's when I got to be Negan.
Yeah.
But like in one instance where I was trying to get old girl to go to somewhere where we could ambush her, it felt awkward because I was like, how would Negan play this? And so I just, I tried to fiddle with my watch, failed miserably, and then I got ragged on by Gorgo for the rest of the game. But like that was also one of the things where if I had Soleil there, it would have made it 10 times easier because Soleil could have also did it because Soleil's that's not attack.
Mm-hmm.
But situations arise, and that's kind of all I have really.
I think we pretty much covered up everything. Actually, I did have another question. It's kind of going back to character creation. What for those who picked up perks? What y'all think of those?
Don't remember.
I like them.
Weren't bad.
Yeah. Some seem more viable than other. This is what I will say. The combat perks, like the ones that are clearly made to assist you in combat, fantastic. Like 10 out of 10. Mwah. Just the ones that seemed like they were RP based, because there were a couple that looked like they were meant there for more flavor, like the combat stuff. They felt out of place just because this game, as we went through it, I realized like you did a great job of creating a story, and we were like invested in the story. However, I don't think the system itself lends itself to like a very in-depth story.
Um, I kind of like the support perks, I guess, though it was a little broken to be like, hey, use a perk and that means you know something about this information. It's not like my character necessarily knew everything, but it was literally like if your allies are stumped, spend a story point and you know something that will help with it. Like, 'cause I think I ended up also. It wasn't just for story because I think I ended up using it for our first battle when we couldn't figure out how to like actually damage the thing, and then I used the story point and it's like, oh, aim for that vulnerable spot right there, and
Looks like
then
an
and then
apple.
like
Oh, you're
yeah,
talking
the
about
apple.
your origin benefit? Yeah.
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 So like like I guess it was just kind of a thing that kind of seemed a little broken, but at the same time it fit in the story because yeah, generally when you watch a Power Rangers episode, they're down on their luck and then one thing happens or one person sees a thing and then they can win.
They turn they
Turn the ties.
Yeah. So support wise, I guess they seemed fine. I liked my perks, though I did get confused with putting them down at first because Ogar, you had to tell me that I had to pick one because I thought like it was one of the perks that I picked that it was like it listed like 3 things and I put all of them in my character sheet and you were like, no, you pick one of those as a perk.
Yeah.
Wait, did we get perks? Did I get a perk?
I think you got the perk for heavy armor.
Oh yeah, because like because Blood Ranger leans towards tanking, so I was like, well, I might as well, I guess.
I guess our support. Yeah, it works.
I guess.
Second.
Did
I suppose.
anybody else have anything for like their perks or any other benefits that they picked up through like influence origin?
Oh,
Oh,
well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, my martial arts hang up. It's the funniest hang up because there's no real downsides to it. It's just
Yeah,
I'm a massive show off.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The hang-ups were not hang-ups. Because the one that I took was I rushed to aid. Well, hold on, let me see if I can find it. But I took the firefighter or the EMT person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you run into dangerous situations to help others without thinking. I was going to do that anyway.
I was about to say, it's a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
It's literally a Power Ranger.
If an innocent person is in danger, you feel compelled. Let's get good. You feel compelled to aid them before any other task. In combat, you will attempt to heal others' damage before your own. I was literally doing that already.
Yeah.
Especially with how Black Ranger is set up.
So you felt like the hang up wasn't really a hang up. It was like, yeah, of course.
The hang up, at least for this one, the hang up felt more like an ideal in 5e than an actual like hang up.
Yeah.
Like the person that I made was a reserve firefighter that that absolutely would stop somebody from bleeding out instead of just stepping over them to do more damage. That was just gonna happen. You'd have to tell me that. That was not a hang up.
Yeah, like my character just wanting to show off. Like it was fun because like whenever I got the killing blow, I could show off and it be true to my character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was fun. It to me it added more in depth to your character because like obviously every character's gonna have a hang up, and I guess for some reason martial artists love to show off, which is technically not wrong, but at the same time it's like I still want to punch stuff.
I think we've just about covered everything. So, final thoughts. We'll go around. Yeah, Deshaun, you were just talking. So, final thoughts.
As for like I want to say my third D&D campaign. This is a pretty good campaign. I love to have fun. I got rather invested, and kind of wanting to figure out like who the main villain was like really interesting to me, and like kind of had me like some nights I was just like thinking about it. I was just like, could it be old girl? Because that old girl is real sus. And I remember having a conversation with Gorgo, and I was like, I gave Gorgo like a reasoning, and like we both was like, yeah, that could be it, and it was just not it. It was not it. It was not it.
How do you feel about the system? Like, would you play Power Rangers, the Power Ranger system again? How do you stack it up against, like, I know you've only played like a couple other D&Ds. Like, how would you compare it to like 5e or whatever? You like it better, worse?
I kind of like 5e more, but I feel like it's only because I don't have much experience with the Power Ranger system. So if I had more games on it, then I could give you a more in-depth analysis. But for now, it's 5e.
All right, so like.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I said before, I think it's a lot more beginner friendly. Story-wise, I did like it. I kind of wish we had gotten to the Zords just because I was intrigued to see how that was gonna play out.
Yeah, that's my bad.
It's all good. But but for someone, I think it's a good stepping point for anyone who hasn't played tabletop before. It would kind of give them a better idea of how something like D&D or Pathfinder or any of the others would go. So yeah, I think it's a good gateway. Honestly, it would be a way, like if you wanted to get your friends interested in it, in doing tabletop, so that you could get them in one of the other ones that are a little more where you have to fill in the gaps yourself. Like this one does a good job of having it all set up, and then like maybe after doing that, then you could get them into a D&D campaign. So yeah, I think it's a good starting point. I would like finishing it up to see like what all the other mechanics were and leveling up and stuff like that. And but yeah, I also agree that I'd probably rather play like a D&D or Pathfinder.
What about werewolf? Where would werewolf fit in that? Because I know you played werewolf.
I am very new in werewolf. Like I was hesitant to play that anyway because I'm not really into like horror type stuff. And we've just started and haven't gotten to anything that would make me squeamish. So I like werewolf, and some of the mechanics kind of remind me of some of the like the skills advantages and stuff kind of remind me of Power Rangers. But yeah, I'd still rather go with a D&D for werewolf or for Power Rangers. But I'm finding them both interesting, and they're helping me learn mechanics and how to play and how to create characters.
Okay. Gorga?
My final thoughts on the system. So I actually have a little bit of a different take than Tank Buddies. Um, do I like the system? Yes. Do I think that it is fun? Absolutely. Would I encourage others to play? Yeah. Um, and again, I enjoy both the story, but I think the story is more of a testament to your skill as a storyteller. Because I'll be honest with you, you could probably take a cardboard box and make a story around it, and we'd all be like, "What do you mean this is the end?" So
To be fair, that did happen.
I'm about to say that
Yeah.
did happen. There was a cardboard box.
No, legit. That is why I say I legitimately, like, as far as the story goes, I feel like that's less to do with the game, because the game doesn't have a whole lot of lore outside of what we see on TV, and more to do with like you, right? But as far as the mechanics go, I do like them. I think really fun. I wouldn't let this be the stepping stone for someone that's starting with the TTRPG. I wouldn't make it their first. And the only reason I would not make it their first is because of how the book is set up and how character creation is set up. I
Fair.
feel like it's a lot more simplified for like a 5e. Even Pathfinder, I feel like those would be better for the character creation aspect of it. But no, I enjoy. I would absolutely play again.
Do you how you like it compared to? I know you played like a bunch of others. So
My comparison right now is that this one is, while it is good, and don't get me wrong, it is very good, I don't feel like as of now it surpasses either Vampire or 5e. And I feel like it's probably on par with Werewolf, if that helps. And for those who don't know, because I realize that people are going to watch this that have no idea, I have a grotesque fascination with Vampire the Masquerade, and I've been playing 5e. 5e was my very first TTRPG, and I've been playing it consistently for about 3 to 4 years at this point. So those two are always going to be ranked high, but this one, if I had more time in it, this could probably get a little higher. But yeah.
okay.
That's just it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
not. Yeah. It ain't. I'm not gonna be brushing the play this every day, but it's decent.
What? Why not?
Got other stuff.
All right, Niren.
Overall, I agree with pretty much everything I said so far. I will say, instead of it being good for newcomers, I think it would be, at least for me, better to say that it's good for casual fun. Just nice, get in, get out, just have some fun. You're not trying to write down 900 notes about what the tree that's on the mountain symbolizes or means to your campaign. You're not worried about the NPC that was mentioned once that's going to come back 20 sessions from now that was super important, but you just rolled bad. So it's not a lot of that. It just you're just having good fun, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. My main gripes comes not from the tabletop itself, but the character sheet. Because for me, as somebody that has quips, there's no place to put quips in speeches at all, or keep count of that at all.
Okay.
At least, unless I'm missing something and I'm really stupid, and I could be. There's no place for that. And I think by making influences and hangups such a large line of text, putting that into the character sheet, you have to do so much scrolling to figure out what you even have in there that you might as well not even use the character sheet at that point for that. Little tweaks and stuff like that. I think some things could be like, I don't think attack needs all that real estate. I think just, stuff like that. But overall, I think it was fine. I've only played 5e. Have I? Yeah. I've only played 5e. So I can't really say anything too much about that, but I will say I enjoyed it for what it was, and I would probably rank it in the middle of the campaigns that I'm currently playing. Yeah. Well, so it's about like third on the list out of 5.
We should give it like a grade, like an A through F. I think that might be the best way.
Oh, you want
Yeah.
you want to grade it?
Yeah.
All right, let's rewind back to Deshaun.
Okay.
A through F, Deshaun.
I'm gonna B.
B.
I do.
Okay. So let.
I give it a B, like almost a B plus, but again, being reminded about character creation and how confused I was, it's a B.
All right. Go.
So even though I said things that I said, this is gonna be a C that aspires to be a B. So a C plus, mostly because of the resources are such a large part of any TTRPG, and I feel like the resources just need to be reworked.
Yeah.
Niren?
I'd say strong B minus. It has a lot going for it, but the hurdle that you have to jump over is equivalent to a Realm Reborn.
Oh god.
You know what? That's pretty apt. That's pretty apt.
Once you
those
get
are
past,
big words.
once you can get past that hurdle and you start to understand, it gets a lot better. But during that hurdle, I felt like I was taking my midterms.
That's fair. All right, Jelly, give your whole final thoughts.
In your grade.
And a grade, okay. Final thoughts. Overall, I had a blast. Forcing me
All
into
right.
a role does help keep things into perspective of what you should try to stack on your character, but it doesn't leave room for a lot of creativity if you're into having a more fleshed out character, if that makes any sense. As far as like RP wise or personality, things like that. The dice system, the snag part sucks. You can crit more often. I didn't mind it because I get to roll a bunch of dice. So I'm a dice gremlin. Anyway, a new player can get into, just please start reading from the top of the book and do what makes sense. My grade for this would probably be like a B for me.
Okay. And I know you played a bunch of systems. How does that compare? How does Power Rangers compare to like Vampire, 5e, Pathfinder?
Vampire the Masquerade was there's a lot of creativity you can use there. It's a lot but also over there they do focus like you can focus more on RP if you want, or on min-maxing your character, but I found in Vampires I tend to prefer to lean towards more of the min-maxing. but I also like to mix in something that's more personal to my character. 5e. I love 5e. Though I like sometimes you don't get to roll as many dice unless you're like you a paladin or something or a rogue, depending on what or class,
Yeah.
subclass you chose or whatever. But with 5e, I feel like you can min max and RP in a balanced kind of way, if that makes any sense. Pathfinder, I enjoy that you got you got something at every level versus like 5e, you only got some at certain levels, and that's the same way that's presented here in Power Rangers. You only get certain things at certain levels. So, I enjoy that Pathfinder gives you a little bit more to work with, but with Pathfinder, you also have to worry about certain roles. When you do combat and things like that, you have to do like 3 different roles, and each one you get a penalty to each one. So, yeah, I think that's about it as far as comparisons go.
Okay.
Your final grade, Z?
I
She
said,
said
B.
B. Yeah, she
Oh
said it.
shoot, I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she gave her grade in the middle and then went back around to comparison.
It was in the middle. I was waiting on to be at the end. I'm sorry.
All right, so what was your grade?
Fair.
My grade was a C plus. It was a C that aspires so desperately to be a B.
I mean, I said B because I was being nice. I was gonna give it like more so
No,
like a
no,
B
don't-
minus.
No.
No,
No,
don't be
I would
nice.
say it's a B minus. It's a B minus. I was being
Like,
They ain't paying
Yeah,
us.
that's what Neri gave it.
I mean, they're
paying
not
us?
paying us. Okay, yeah, you're
This
right.
is not
so I
a
would
paid
give it a
advertisement.
B.
No.
Yeah, no, they ain't.
Wait, it's
Yeah,
not
they
paid
ain't paid
advertisement?
nothing.
No.
Absolutely not. Get them
Well,
out of
so
here.
what? Wait, yes. No, B. We
Oh boy.
Oh,
no.
I'm being too
Yeah.
nice then. Okay.
Don't be too nice.
Why do you
Tell
think we
your
were like
honest
that?
truth.
Okay, my honest
Yes.
truth, it would definitely ping between like a C plus or a B minus.
Well, pick one.
No.
Well, off that thing.
What do you mean no?
That's
That's
your
what we're
grade.
here for.
I think it's because certain aspects I liked, and then there's a lot that I didn't.
The resource is the main reason. It would have been a solid B minus for me, but it's just, and I don't know if it's just a renegade thing, but their resources can get quite tedious to bog through, and this one was definitely one of the more tedious ones to get through. That was the main reason that I had to break it down, because I can't play the game if I can't get through the book, and that's just, it is what it is on that one.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Cause
If they clean that up, I would bring mine up to a B plus easily.
Yeah, if they cleaned it up, it would still be I would bring it up to a solid B. It wouldn't be a B plus per se for me, but just because mechanically, I do think that there's still some things like the whole like you crit less, the better you get at the skill. But other than that, it would desperately improve it if they could. But I don't know, maybe that's just Renegade Stick. You know, they're like, look, you gonna like this game, you gonna get through this book, whether you want to.
Look, Renegade, I'm just gonna say this hopping around in y'all's books, and I mean all of them, all of them is annoying. I would like a more linear way to character build my character. Okay, that goes for this. It goes for vampires, and I'm assuming werewolves and hunters. I'm just gonna go down the line here.
Well,
Because
Werewolf also had that the simplified version that kind of helped. I don't know if any of the other ones have that.
Vampire has one, but the problem is you gotta bog through half the book.
I'm gonna cut
Probably
you
same
off
thing in here.
because
Oh, wow.
we're saving that for the vampire video.
Yes.
I want to be in the vampire video.
Well,
See, you have no availability.
you
I'm
have
sorry.
no availability.
I do. I
No.
do. I can fit it in somewhere.
Hey, yo.
I'm
Hey,
I'm
yo.
sorry. This is the wrong video. This is the wrong video. We're gonna let this man finish up his final thoughts so he can
Apologize. Go ahead and
so he
finish
can
your
end
final
this
thoughts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so final thoughts. Yeah, I probably would have rated it lower just based off of character creation and the kerfuffle that ended up being and looking up resources and everything. But playing the gameplay was actually pretty fun, and the monsters were. While I wish there were a little bit more information on the monsters, that I did like that it was like easy to parse through to get to like specific moves and like perks and hang up. I do feel like there's a little bit like they simplified it a little too much. There's a little bit of information that's missing, but it's still enough to throw in some monsters to get through like a campaign. So I'll give it a B minus.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Dog, not me being the harshest grader. Gosh.
No,
But
I think that's
You
I
gave
think
you
that's
gave
still
your
fair.
honest opinion.
I think I would have gave it a C plus if I wasn't also doing like the monster like GM side of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yep, that's our thoughts.
Yay.
Yep.
So join us again when we go on yet another adventure
Yep.
where we're utterly
Another
confused at the resources.
adventure.
Next time, werewolf.
Yeah. Which will also be on the CFG channel whenever we figure that out.
Yeah. Whenever. Everyone say bye.
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 Bye.